Through this course, we have successfully covered modernism and are now going to look at postmodernism and contemporary art. Postmodernism is difficult to simply define and even more difficult to know when it actually started. Many art historians believe that postmodernism started in the 1970s. Regarding architecture, it may have been as early as 1948 to 1949. In architecture, postmodernism is the reaction against the pared-down modern school by reintroducing classical and traditional elements of style. An example of this style is Philip Johnson's AT&T building in New York City. Postmodernism in architecture is marked by the reemergence of surface ornament, reference to surrounding buildings in urban architecture, historical reference in decorative forms, and non-orthogonal angles, meaning architects were not using all 90-degree angles in their constructions. It wasn't all perfectly straight up and down. Postmodernism has been applied to a multitude of movements that react against trends in modernism and are marked by revival of historical elements and techniques. Postmodernism art is a body of art movements that sought to contradict some aspects of modernism or some aspects that emerged or developed in its aftermath. In general, movements such as intermedia, installation art, conceptual art, and multimedia, particularly involving video, are described as postmodern. There are several characteristics which lend art to being postmodern. These include bricolage, which is the use of words prominently as the central artistic element, collage, simplification, appropriation, performance art, the recycling of past styles and themes in a modern-day context, as well as the breakup of the barrier between fine art and high arts and the low art in popular culture. So as you can see, just like modernism was filled with different styles and movements, so too is postmodernism. Last lecture we ended with earth art. Today we are going to start with architecture and then go into individual artists. This building here is the AT&T headquarters building and was constructed between 1978 to 1983 by architects Philip Johnson and John Berge and is 647 feet. This building is nicknamed the Chippendale Building in reference to the broken pediment at its top that resembles a Chippendale-style highboy chest, and that you can see here, right there, and then this is the chest. And you can see that, the resemblance there. Now this building looks like a large stack of drawers that is set in a chest which is supported by tall legs. This is emblematic of the postmodern longing for symbolism. This building is designed by Norman Foster in 2002. It is the 30th Street Mary Axe building in London. This is a high-tech design that carries the philosophy of achieving maximum effect with minimal structural means. It has clear and precise components that fit together. Here, the use of prefabricated materials are utilized along with recycled materials. Londoners refer to this design as Gherkin, Gherkin. This design facilitates the flow of fresh air through the building, and it is also designed to minimize waste and energy. The utilities are inside the center core, allowing for more space throughout the building. I.M. Pei was commissioned to modernize certain parts of the Louvre Museum in Paris. What Pei chose to do was to create a pyramid in the courtyard of the Louvre. This project created quite a bit of controversy. Instead of doing a traditional pyramid that is solitary, solid, and dark, he turned the traditional concept inside out by creating it out of glass that turns it into a huge skylight for the museum visitors that are walking through the galleries below. It is also the entrance into the below galleries. And here you can see the entrance going in, and then just behind it is a smaller pyramid. On this side you could see it at night, you could see it lit up from below and on the outside. This is the back of the entrance here. And he also placed reflective shallow pools around in triangular shapes around the pyramid over here and then again over here. And what those pools do is they reflect the original building, which is back here, and the pyramid. This is the smaller pyramid seen from the inside. We can see how it fills the area with natural light and the enjoyable tension created with a concrete pyramid that is just below it right here. However, they don't quite touch, and you can see the detail of it right there. This is the inside of the larger pyramid. Here you can see how much light is given from the entrance into the galleries below. The triangular-shaped pools serve as a powerful device, reflecting the beauty of the natural sky and complementing the architectural entrance. The pyramid becomes a work of art in of itself. The architect Franco Gehry collaborated with Claes Oldenburg and Koos van Bruggen to create the Chiat Day building in 1991, located in Venice, California. This is a building for an advertising firm, although it looks like it would be a museum. And the massive binoculars are the entrance into the building. And there's the entrance right there, right through the bottom of the binoculars. There is a movement or form of artwork that is referred to as appropriation that came about during postmodernism. Appropriation recontextualizes existing images. Many of these artists used images and took them out of their original context and inserted their own context to their works. Appropriation deconstructs their relationship to its source materials. This image by Barbara Kruger says, "Your gaze hits the side of my face." This reveals aspects of modern media culture, such as glossy fashion women magazines, an example seen here in the upper left corner over there. These magazines are cropped to show beautiful airbrushed, perfect faces with captions of stories that make you want to be that person or buy that magazine. Magazines are imposing what they want onto you, the buyer. Kruger brings this to the surface that these magazines and other media images are not our response to something visual, but instead is a contrived set of images that has been constructed for us. We are no longer discovering for ourselves. We are now being controlled if we choose to buy what they want. Cindy Sherman is an artist who uses herself as the model in most of her photographs. This photograph is titled Untitled Film Still Number 35. Now, there was no film, so this is not really a film still, but she's giving the viewer the idea that there is a film and that there is a larger story to the photograph than what is seen. She made several photographs from this series using different props and settings. The settings of the photos were from typical female roles that Sherman appropriated from other films, commercials, and also television shows. Because her photos were from typical female roles, Sherman exploits how women are perceived by mass culture. The characters she creates for her work range from a Playboy centerfold to a bored suburban housewife. Sherman undermines the traditional relationship between man artist and woman model by acting as both model and artist. This piece here is referred to as language works. This photograph is showing a piece by Jenny Holzer, which is from her selection of truisms from 1982. Here, she placed words on a Spectacolor band saying, "Private property created crime." This was taken in Times Square, New York City. It also flashed a message saying, "Protect me from what I want." Here, the viewers are not walking into a gallery setting or a museum. These viewers were pedestrians walking along the street and driving by in their cars and buses. Holzer also exhibits in museums and galleries, and in these settings her works are more meditative and subjective. Her thought-provoking words are meant to give attention to an issue or subject. In 1989, she placed words that ran along a sideboard of Frank Lloyd Wright's spiral ramp of the Guggenheim Museum, with messages such as, "You are the victim of the rules you live by." And you can see that particular saying right there.